the Bodyshot Bandits versus the Violent Tendencies, and both teams are ready to go, so I will get this match started. Now, there is a new rule that was added, so in between maps, teams will only have about 5 minutes in order to swap players around and for the next match to start. If teams are not ready by that point, well, the map will start regardless. But I want to get things going because we have people that need to leave from both teams, it looks like. Anyway, right now we have Violent Tendencies coming off a nice win, I believe, from last week. If I'm not, or actually a upsetting defeat of Violent Tendencies last week where they had to play with only 5 people for a couple of those maps, but they still held a very strong defense. Now that they can start with 6 people, I'm excited to see exactly what they're going to be able to do coming up against Bodyshot Bandits. Now, we haven't seen much of this Bodyshot this season, as I believe they've had to forfeit a lot of games due to the unavailability of players. So, having them being able to play is still a big thing for them. So, let's see if one of these teams is going to come out with a win today, which will be nice to see. Anyway, it looks like from Bodyshot, we're going to see a classic meta defense from what we've been seeing recently, with the Orisa Sigma dual shield, whereas from the Violent Tendencies, they're running more of a dive composition, which can do a lot against this bunker comp. However, with Bodyshot hanging out underneath this little gazebo, this lean-to, actually, I think is what it's called, it might make it tough for Violent Tendencies to really get in there and dive on top of them, as they now have that roof and they have that back covered. Violent Tendencies moving around the background, seeing where they're trying to get in here. Bodyshot still waiting to see where they're coming from. Little warning shots from Violent to see if there's any movement coming out of them. Bodyshot Bandits still holding strong and not really wanting to give away their position. Winston jumps straight onto the point and immediately finds them. Violent Tendency starts the fight and dives right onto the Bastion, trying to keep him occupied with multiple targets. Immortality Field comes up to Bodyshot with a nice D-Mech and a takeout of Morlocks. Akri takes out Aloe Earth, but we still see this Bastion from Bodyshot doing the work, taking out actual Falcon and keeping this play in favor of Bodyshot. Violent Tendencies jumping in once again. Winston trying to get his opening in this. Fuelgen trying to force this Bastion out of his position, but in order to really do this, I think Violent might have to resort to playing either a Pharah or a Junkrat or something that can really burst him down. Maybe even a Symmetra can work in this. Amplification Matrix comes out of Bodyshot Bandits with a Dragon Blade coming in, taking out 2 people, makes that 3, and that Bastion will fall shortly after. A nice quad kill from Morlocks to Genji, and a nice team kill for Violent Tendencies, with Falcon doing a nice little dance party on the point. However, we do see Bastion ult online for Bodyshot Bandits, as well as Spooky Assassins. We see that they have the Coalescence. What they're going to be able to do with this is going to be a major move for Violent Tendencies. Bastion ult still in play, being a very powerful ultimate, able to one-shot almost every character in the game. Except for most of the tanks, Bastion can still be a very powerful character. It even will fall, though, to the Bastion. And it looks like Bodyshot will continue to hold for the time being. Genji slowly moving the payload. Bastion popping his ultimate, coming around the backside here, trying to get a few picks. Winston Shield comes in and saves most of his team, and Bastion ult will expire without taking up, without first taking out Genji. Widow ultimate coming into play for Bodyshot Bandits, looking to get some sight lines. Genji coming back from spawn. Spooky Assassin still with his Coalescence. Very powerful ultimate in the game right now. We also see that Elo Moon has a Gravitic Surge for Bodyshot Bandits on the newest character, Sigma. Sigma is allowed to be played as of last week. And with our new comp season starting very shortly, right now teams are basing their SR off of season 17, 16, and 15. A Gravitic Flux comes out from Bodyshot Bandits with a nice Resurrect onto the Bastion. However, will that be enough to stop Violent Tendencies from moving forward? that game guy, still pushing in heavily into Bodyshot Bandits. Fusion will fall to the Bastion, but Morox will end up taking his life on his own. That game guy still moving this payload forward and keeping the momentum for Violent Tendencies. Hello Moon ends up KYSing, or that's what I think it might have been. It might have been an accidental shot, as Sigma can kill himself with his own primary fire. Diva Bomb comes right in, self-destruct, looking for a pick. It will get the Hanzo as well as the Immortality Field, with Arisa falling shortly after to actual Falcon. And Violent Tendencies will cap the second objective of Blizzard World. Now our map pool for this set is going to be Blizzard World, and then we will come over to Nepal, then Temple of Anubis, and then finally Havana, with Violent Tendencies still making absolute monster pushes onto Bodyshot Bandits. Fusion still having another Primal Raise. Morlock also having an ultimate ability of the Dragon Blade. This can be very powerful ults, especially if you're able to combo these together. Now, I apologize if my voice is a little weird. I'm still coming off of a cold that I've been suffering from last week, so if my voice sounds a little congested, then that's why. Fulgen, though, will jump in. Let's see if he's going to pop this Primal Rage right now. It looks like Violent Tendencies is going to take the opportunity to start pushing forward. Morlox with another Dragon Blade coming out is going to take out the Mercy as well as taking out the Arisa and Baptiste. Looking for another pick. He isn't going to be able to take it. But very nice Dragon Blade. And once again, another team kill thanks to the Dragon Blade of Morlox. Fusion still with a Primal Rage, as well as that game guy. Ready to go with a self-destruct. We also see Hello Moon with a whole hog ready to go, but that's not gonna matter, as Violent Tendencies will take the final checkpoint on Blizzard World for this first round. That team kill really did a lot for Violent Tendencies in order for them to really make a strong push forward and just keep that payload moving. Momentum in this game is everything, and if you can stop that momentum, it can make things a little easier for you to defend against a team. Now we're going into our round 2. Teams are switching sides, meaning that now we're gonna see this very strong defense, hopefully that we saw from last week from Violent Tendencies. It's gonna be very hard for Bodyshot Bandits to really make a strong push into this defense, I'm thinking. I'm going to be very excited. We do see somebody leaving the game. It doesn't look like they were in the game, though. So a pause will not occur. Now, as we've been seeing in a lot of competitive matches now, 2-2-2 lock is in effect, as it will be in quick play very shortly, as all matches will be running with the same 2-2-2 combo. Looks like, though, from Violent Tendencies, we are seeing once again that same dive composition that they were running earlier, with Fusion on the Winston and that game guy on the Diva. Whereas from the side of Bodyshot Bandits, it looks like they might be running a very similar dive composition, running a Lucio Ana instead of a Moira. It's going to be very interesting to see what these teams are going to choose to do with this new composition. Now, with Sigma being able to be played, it's going to be a very different games. Sorry. I can't speak right now, and I'm having a lot of trouble thinking of my words. But we see Bodyshot Bandits immediately diving out of the point with Violent Tendencies trying to fight back. They will take 2 picks, though. This is very good stronghold for Violent Tendencies right now, with another pick going at 2 Morlocks. However, it doesn't look like Hello Moon wants to give up very easily, really assaulting this point, and they are starting to cap with only 1 left on the point. It is Morlocks left to defend. However, it looks like Violent Tendencies is going to give up the point for right now and allow Bodyshot Bandits to have this quick objective. And we do see that actual Falcon left the game, so we will pause for 10 minutes to see if he can join back. And it does look like that Action Faction did disconnect, so we are going to wait for him to rejoin. The match will resume at 4:41 regardless if he's back or not. Or it will resume if he's not back by 4:41, the match will resume and they will have to be playing a man down. However, that doesn't stop Axel Falcon from rejoining, just like if it were a normal comp match. He can rejoin if he wants to. If he can get back online, he can and will be allowed to rejoin. But Violent Tendencies will not be allowed to sub anybody new in. Let's see if he will be able to rejoin. However, there was a very strong push from Bodyshot Bandits with a little over 5.5 minutes on their time bank to be able to push for these last two objectives. Very strong dive composition that they were running, with Elo Moon really being a big player, knocking people around and really stopping Violent Tendencies from staying on the point. We do see Fuelgen, though, did swap over to the Hammond, which can change things up a little bit for them. Still very similar compositions. However, we see Akri playing on Doomfist instead of the Widow, which they might switch over to the Widow very soon, especially if Elo Earth really starts making a strong presence on this Widowmaker. Morlock still on this Genji, might try to keep him with almost 50% to his ultimate, whereas we do see 69% onto the Tracer ultimate, which these can be very powerful ultimates. Elo Moon with a very, very close to being able to use his mines will cause a massive disruption to Violent Tendencies in order for them to really hold this point. Now, I do want to say though, if players end up having to leave, having to leave before the match is either done, captains can either continue to play with the players that they currently have, or they can forfeit the maps. However, I wouldn't mind seeing these games played through, as I hate seeing forfeits happen. The way I see it is, if you're gonna lose, you're gonna lose fighting, rather than just giving it up. They do have about, it starts at 41, they have about 7 minutes. And yes, with the new rules, there is going to be 5 minutes in between the maps for subs and and map moves and everything, so that way we can keep these games moving quicker, so that way teams aren't going to be able to just stall time out and force other players on the enemy team to leave. Now, we do still have about 6 minutes left for Falcon to try and rejoin. We are still waiting to see if Falcon is going to be able to rejoin. It looks like he is rejoining now, as according to what the captain of Violent Tendencies, Morlocks, is saying. So, hopefully he will rejoin before 4:41. He has about 5 minutes left to rejoin before the match will resume without him. Still waiting to see if he's going to come, although Bodyshot Bandits still being a very strong force, it looks like. Did he join the Oh, he started spectating for some reason. Oh, that's no problem. I will just put Falcon in, like he should be, and then... And we will be starting back up right now. There we go. But we still have to see about 5.5 minutes for Bodyshot Bandits to keep this fight going. Elo Moon still being a very powerful asset for the side of the Bodyshot Bandits. Damage coming into him, and he is going to roll out very quickly. Morlock still running the Genji, and just looks like Akri will swap over to the Widowmaker. But she will be taken out by Elo, Earth's own Widowmaker. Trying to get a nice sightline onto where everybody is. Bodyshot Bandits really proving to be very powerful offense, as well as Violent Tendencies, looking like they're not able to hold up the same defense they had last week as of right now. Diva getting a nice frame back. Pulse Bomb comes out. Is not going to catch anybody. Elo Moon still with a Hammond Mine. Mine comes Sprout straight onto the point. Looks like it's not going to catch anybody though, but it will lock out this point and keep it in favor of Bodyshot Bandits. Elo Earth taking yet another pick. A nice ultimate. Now they have sights for Bodyshot. They can see exactly where Violent Tendencies is trying to push up. Bodyshot will keep this momentum going and keep this payload moving closer and closer to that final objective. 4.5 minutes on the clock right now. Very fast pushes coming in from these teams right now. Strategy. Morlock coming in, trying to use his Dragon Blade to hold this point. We do see a Coalescence come out from Spooky Assassin, which will demech the Diva and also take out the life of the Lucio, with Fusion taking out the Diva herself, with Akri taking out Elo Earth, and it looks like Violent Tendencies might be able to hold this point just before that checkpoint. It looks like it's at 0.04 away from that checkpoint, so very, very close, but they were able to hold it. Akri having a Infrasight ready to go can give much needed information to the rest of Violent, telling them exactly where Bodyshot wants to try and push from. Although we do see this Diva ultimate on the side of Bodyshot Bandits. Infrasight comes out from Violent Tendencies. Let's see if they're going to make use of this. Lucio Sound Mary ready to go, and I think he's going to pop it right here. Nope, he chooses not to. Elo Earth though will take out Outcreep. With another Hammond Nines coming out onto the point, although we do see that Violent Tendencies is keeping around that very well, staying near that payload. However, Sigma is going to fall from that guy Gaming Sigma. It will fall. At this point, it's still moving in the favor of Bodyshot Bandits, with being capped with 4.5 minutes onto the time bank. Very strong pushes from these teams, and it looks like we have Dirt with a Pulse Bomb ready to go from Bodyshot. Let's see if he's going to be trying to sneak around, looking for an opportunity to get this Pulse Bomb off, it looks like. Elo Earth with a Infrasight. Now he can see exactly where he wants to try and pop this Pulse Bomb. Pulse Bomb will come out, but it doesn't look like he caught anybody. Elo Earth taking out Widow once again. And it looks like the Infrasight will waste out, with only actually falling. Hammond coming in, nano boosted. Very powerful guns right now, and able to deal lots of amounts of damage, although it doesn't look like Violent Tendencies is really concerned with him. Sound Barrier comes out, as well as the Coalescence from Spooky Assassin. Let's see if he's going to make anything out of this. It ends up taking out both supports. That's going to be major picks for Violent Tendencies, although Elo Earth is still doing massive amounts of damage. Bodyshot did lose both their supports, meaning the payload is their only way of healing each other, healing themselves. Arcree switching over to the McCree and will take out that Tracer. We see that game guy on the Sigma ready to fight. This double shield has been a major aid for many teams in this latest competitive season, in this beta test season, for role queue right now, and looking like it might become the new meta, with Orisa Sigma being very powerful combination. Elo Moon still running with the Hammond, has another mine ready to go. Coming around the backside to hopefully try and get a sneak attack onto Violent Tendencies, although they know he is there. And they know exactly what he's going to be trying to do. That gang guy holding this front line. Mines come out straight onto the point once again to try and lock them out. Falcon going to fall to the mines with LOR taking out Morlocks. The Widows are gone from both these teams. We see that game guy using his Gravitic Flux. It will cause the death of Lazarus. But it doesn't look like it's stopping Bodyshot from keeping moving forward, with LOR taking another 2 picks into their favor. With Raiden taking out one on Fuel Gen. An Ana taking out the pick. You don't see too many Anas making massive plays. Dirt trying to make this happen. Creep using the Deadeye, not going to be utilized. Instead, it is going to be eaten with Elo Earth. Once again, taking out massive names. Taking lives and making these massive shots. Keeping this payload moving for Bodyshot Bandits. Time still taken away though. Violent Tendencies staggering in. Trying to run out the time bank so they have more time to push. Sound Barrier did come out, but he fell way too fast. A nice cancellation under the Sound Barrier with a Riptire coming out from the side of Violent Tendencies. Hopefully this is going to be a massive tire if they want to try and hold this. 2 picks! Very strong tire, taking out a lot of the proximity mines as well. However, it does look like Bob is still doing his thing and will allow this payload to be captured. Very strong plays from both these teams right now. That Riptire beat, although it took out 2 lives as well as taking out a lot of those mines, it wasn't enough as we saw Elo Earth had that Ashe ready to go with the Bob ultimate. And it looked like they were just able to push through them. However, when it comes to the time banks, Violent Tendencies does have a slight advantage, having just under, I think, 3 minutes. I think it's about 2.5 actually. It's hard to see with this lighting, but I believe it's about 2 minutes and 33 seconds for them to push. It might be 2:53. However, we also see, though, that Bodyshot Bandits has just over a minute left to push, and it looks like they will be attacking first. With Violent Tendencies once again running the Sigma, they're going to be switching off of the Genji and running a Soldier. Maybe expecting the Pharah to come out of this with a nice strong dive composition. Instead, we're going to see the Widowmaker coming out once again from Elo Earth, but as well as seeing a Sombra from Dirt. This can change things up just a little bit for Bodyshot Bandits to really make this push forward and really capture and really be able to make a strong stance onto these points. That gang guy setting up his shield very early on. Hammond jumping straight into the fray. Didn't drop down though, instead just used that to try and pop people away and probably force Violent back onto the point where they want to attack them from. Hammond coming straight onto the point, knocking him off and dealing massive amounts of damage. Hammond doing a lot of work right now. Elor in the background, trying to hold them. Get a nice flank off, but it looks like Soldier did know he was there. Morlocks ready to fight. Morlocks though, and Akri will fall though, both to the Armor and the Widow. Bodyshot Bandits having a presence onto this point for right now, but Violent Tendencies does have a long way to cover from spawn. However, they might be able to still be able to come back and keep this point. Moira falling to the remech of the Diva. You do not see that very often. However, Violent Tendencies is starting to come back in. Morlocks will fall very early on as well as that game guy. And Bodyshot Bandits looking like they will be able to hold it and be able to take this point. However, we are coming into OT, and it might be very hard to really keep this point forward, as just leaving the point will cause them to fall out.
My EMP is charging. No one can hide from my sight.
Let's see. We do see 2 picks though coming out from Bodyshot Bandits. Sorry about that, I was checking Discord. Fuelgen will fall though very quickly to My Back is Heavy, the captain of Bodyshot Bandits, and this payload will continue to move forward ever so slightly. However, with OT, that means that if they leave this point, it could mean the end of their push in this round. You have to try and The longer this payload moves, and the longer this match goes on, the faster the overtime clock is going to tick down. Massive EMP, though, coming out from Violent Tendencies. Or coming out from Bodyshot. Bandits, rather, catching a lot of people off guard and attacking all of them. However, Spooky's Fast's Coalescence will take the life of the Armor. That's one killer down, with Lucio being frozen. Very easy pick, but he will not fall. Instead, Diva will save his life, and this massive fight running this point will claim the back for Diva. And it looks like Violent Tendencies might be able to continue to hold this point. It is getting very hard for me to talk right now. That game guy though, taking out the LO Earth with the Widowmaker of LO Earth, and this looks like Violent Tendencies' chance to really hold this point. Overtime ticks down, and they will only push it just about to that second checkpoint. Violent Tendencies having a long way to push in order to keep this point. However, they do have, it looks like, just under 3 minutes for them to capture this point and get to that second checkpoint. Now, where that payload sits right now is as far as Violent Tendencies needs to be able to cap just before that second checkpoint. Can Bodyshot Bandits be able to hold them just long enough in order to keep this fight going for them in their favor? Morlock switching back on to Genji. Violent Tendencies looking like they want to run the same composition that they did earlier. They're going back onto the Bastion, whereas instead of running the Sigma, they are going to be running Hammond instead. Hammond still being a very effective use, utilized very strong by LO Moon right now. I do think that this could be the make or break moment for Bodyshot, just using this Hammond. Slumber not being used this time. Although, it does look like Morlocks will have Outbreak in order to play on the Widow in order to try and take some distraction away from him. Sorry if with that air, I am still trying to come down from that cold, and it is very hard for me to talk right now at times. Anyway, Violent Tendencies, thinking that they know exactly where they are, is going to make a very similar approach to the way they did last time. Instead of using a similar approach that they did on their first defense, they are making a more cautious approach, trying to get in and force this Bastion and reposition. The Immortality Field used. Winston going to be very useful to taking that out. The Immortality Field will just be destroyed, not without losing the mech of their Diva, as well as LO Moon taking out the Moira. LO Moon doing even more damage with Morlock, using this Dragon Blade once again, taking another 2 picks and looking for more. He's going to be able to take out the Mercy and looking for the pick onto LO Earth. LO Earth, though, looking like he will be able to escape just barely with his life. Violent Tendencies capping the point. He will take out Morlocks with this Winston still onto the point. However, Violent Tendencies is starting to come back in order to keep this point into their favor. Winston jumping up, looking for a chance to get on the high ground and destroy some of those mines before they can do anything. Baptiste Amplification Matrix coming out from Bodyshot Bandits with a nice pick from the mines onto actual Falcon. Winston coming in, trying to disrupt Bodyshot Bandits as much as they can. Bastion still here onto the point, dealing massive amounts of damage. And Winston will fall with 1 minute left onto the time for Violent Tendencies. They still have to cap this point. Bodyshot really holding a strong defense this time, using that ultimate right away from LO Earth. It's very, very useful information, so they know exactly where they're trying to push from. This last minute is the big one. Spooky Assassin will fall before that fight even begins. Hammond on this high ground, ready to try and make a strong defense. Akri switching over to the Hanzo. Dragons might be a game-changing ultimate for them right now, if done in the right position. Looking to see if they are under that lean-to. He knows where they are now and is going to pop the dragon straight onto the Bastion. Immortality Field, though, comes in order to save the Bastion's life, and they don't have to give up much around. Instead, Elo Earth and My Back is Heavy will be taking out Morlocks and Fuelgen. The self-destruct coming in is going to take out Dirt, with Valkyrie taking out the Mercy. Massive pick for Violent Tendencies, as well as taking out the Widowmaker. This could be the chance that Violent Tendencies is looking for in order for them to really make a push forward onto this point. Immortality Field comes out, but Valkyrie will take that out, as well as taking out another pick, as well as another, and keeping this game in favor of Violent Tendencies. Both teams, though, into overtime right now. Violent Tendencies cannot afford to leave the side of this payload. They have about halfway to push it in order to cap this final point and take the first map of this match. Raiden switching over to the Lucio, gonna give a nice speed boost to the rest of his team and give an opportunity for them to really start to push forward. Morlock sticking with the Genji, still being a very utilized character right now. D.Va coming in, diving straight onto the Lucio, but Lucio is gonna be blocked by the Zarya bubble from that game guy. Not a lot of charge on the Zarya though, with Widowmaker using Elo Earth using his ultimate in order to get sights on them. Valkyrie doesn't care though. Instead, Valkyrie is going to continue to fight, using this Hanzo to its full effectiveness and keeping this point into their favor. This Dragons can also be used to zone out this point and keep that in order to solidify the win for Violent Tendencies right now. Hello, Owl Moon does have a ham in mind in order to zone out this point himself. Pulse Bomb coming out onto the back line is not going to capture anybody. Instead, Elo Earth is going to take out somebody, but then be taken out by Valkyrie. Mines come straight out onto the point. Dragons, though, comes in onto the point to try and force them up. A Dragon Blade comes in, but is going to be taken out by the Hammond Mines, and overtime starts to tick away very quickly. And it looks like Bodyshot Bandits might just have enough in order to force everybody off the point from Violent Tendencies in order to take this first map of this series. Lucio will fall, Hammond being the last one onto this point right now. And Violent Tendencies will lose this first map, and it will go to Bodyshot Bandits. These teams really showing exactly what they have to bring to this table, and neither one really wanted to give up at all.
Expected.
Let's see. It looks like Bodyshot Bandits is ready to go for the next map. Now, if both teams do say that they are ready before 5 minutes is up, then the next map will just start right away. Our next map, though, will be going to, what was it? It was Nepal. Very difficult map, very interesting map for most teams to be fighting on. Nepal is one of those maps that will cause a lot of disruption and a lot of changes for what teams would normally like to do. So we will start regardless at 5 o'clock, meaning we have about 4 minutes left. Somebody looks like they did leave from Violent Tendencies, and there might be a DC. However, I'm still waiting to see if Morlocks wants to sub in Ice Sinatra. But Bodyshot Bandits having a very strong offense and very strong defense on that last point. It could mean that they might be able to walk away with this match in their hands. I'm not sure who left. If anyone knows, that would be helpful, but I'm Who was it? I don't know. I remember. $3 minutes left on the clock for them to be able to sub somebody in. If not, I might just put in Ice Sinatra. Or they can run with a 5v6. Let's see what they are going to choose to do. We do want to keep these matches going forward, and he is asking for a minute, so he is responding and reading the messages. Our next maps, though, we'll be going to Anubis and then finally Havana. Hopefully we'll be able to see all 4 maps come out from the series. Still waiting to see if Molox is going to be subbing in Ice Sinatra. It was, no, it wasn't Plaz, because Plaz is on Bodyshot. Why can't I remember who it was? They were just playing. Don't get sick, people. This is what happens when you get sick, is you start losing your mind, and you start forgetting things. If you see Morlox is typing, so it might... He is going to say something about, moving people in, or... The only person Violent Tendencies has to sub in right now is Ice Sinatra. And see if they are going to be subbed in. Let's see if Morlox is going to sub in Ice Sinatra. But Violent Tendency is still holding a strong defense. These teams were very well matched. It looks like Morlox is going to opt into the 5v6. Now, if somebody on Bodyshot needs to leave early, they can opt into doing a 5v5, which is something that we will allow in these matches. Morlock's trying to decide on the roles of people who are going to be playing for this next round. And it does look like Bodyshot Bandits is ready to go, and we will be going in to Nepal. Violent Tendencies running with a 5v6, although I do think that they still can do very powerfully.
Initiating match.
And our first map will be Nepal Village. Now, a lot of people always get confused on what the maps are. Now, this is Village, because you can see all the different houses, and we come into a big open area on this side. When it comes to, for Nepal Shrine, that is the one that that is the outdoor one with the very tall building that you have to push into. And then there is Sanctum, which is the indoor one with the huge environmental area off to the side of the point. Anyways, let's see what Bodyshot Bandits and Violent Tendencies are going to run. Violent Tendencies are running at a slight disadvantage, having to run 2 tanks, 2 supports, and a single DPS, whereas Bodyshot Bandits is able to run a full composition. Bodyshot looking like they have an advantage onto these points right now. Violent Tendencies only having those 5 people is going to make a huge difference. Although they were able to hold a very strong defense last week in their matches at a 5v6 disadvantage, they still could walk away with a possible win, although it is more unlikely the less people you have. Bodyshot Bandits immediately pushing onto the point using the Symmetra. Symmetra is going to set up these turrets right away and deal massive amounts of damage onto Violent Tendencies. Snorlax, so swing your way, gonna take out that Immortality Field of Archery, taking out Plasma. Although, it does look like Bodyshot Bandits with 2 picks is gonna keep this fight in their favor, as Violent Tendencies has to push out now that they've already lost almost everybody on their team. And it does look like they lost everybody in that fight, with a nice sound of a team kill from the side of Bodyshot Bandits. Hello Moon, still running on this Hammond. It's going to rush right onto the Reinhardt that is in this back room. Violent Tendencies is looking very weak right now, trying to find a way to hold onto their positioning and trying to get some picks. Nice pin onto the Hammond, although will not take his life, as well as he will get massive amounts of healing. And it looks like Bodyshot Bandits will keep this point into their favor, although it does look like Ikri trying to move around the backside, looking for an opportunity to get into this back point. Morlock with an Earth Shatter, looking for his opportunity to use it, isn't going to get a chance. Hello Moon can use his ultimate to just zone them out even more, with yet another team kill for the side of Bodyshot Bandits. Violent Tendencies really falling apart right now after that player had to leave. However, if somebody does have to leave for Bodyshot Bandits, then we can do a 5v5 if teams would like to keep these matches going. Moon, nice Hammond ultimate, will take out the actual Falcon on the Lucia, whereas Dirt will continue to take out Mormox, and it looks like a Bodyshot Bandits will continue to hold this point very powerfully. 83% onto the capture percentage, and it looks like Bodyshot Bandits has all but walked away with Nepal Village. A nice Symmetra ultimate coming out is going to block out the point just enough for them. Although a nice back cap coming out from the side of Violent Tendencies, trying to force them away. However, overtime is ticking out, and this will go. Nepal Village will go to Bodyshot Bandits. Very unfortunate to see a team when they have to go to a 5v6, but the way I see it is, if you're gonna go down fighting. And now we are coming in to Nepal Shrine. One of the more difficult maps to really push onto. You see a lot more of the Widowmaker Pharah compositions onto this map, instead of the Bastion. Bastion, although he can be utilized, especially on this high ground, isn't used as often, due to the fact that this point is so open, and although there is a lot of cover, it's hard for him to get any clear sight lines onto an enemy. Or instead of using the Symmetra, we'll be using the Widow, or we'll be using the Ashe. It does look like Bodyshot Bandits is making a strong push onto this point. Once again, very messy pick. Sorry about that again. I was looking at the Discord once more. Very lot of things going on that I have to watch. But it does look like Morlox is going to be switching over to the Sigma. Very different way of going about this right now. Trying to use the Sigma, this new hero, to try and break up Bodyshot as much as they can. Bodyshot being very powerful team right now, just holding on to this point. They don't want to give up any ground, because if they give up ground, that could mean that they could end up losing this 5v6. That game guy will take a pick though onto the Ashe. Very strong pick. Torbjorn though coming out from dirt instead of the Bastion. As well as Symmetra coming in from the side of Violent Tendencies, trying to deal as much as they can. Symmetra with her strong beam is able to take out dirt. With Elo Earth though using Bob as well as getting a pick on to Morlocks. Bob being on the point is going to be very powerful. Will target that immortality field. And then finally we'll start to target the rest of Violent Tendencies. However, Violent Tendencies running that Symmetra looks like it's paying off for them. And they are able to cap this first point. Orisa on the side of Bodyshot Bandits as well, but you'll see Moloch switching over to the Hammond. Akri being very powerful on the Symmetra right now. Symmetra ultimate ready to go. She will be popping it. Akri falling though to Elo Moon. And it looks like that game guy will fall shortly after, but Baptiste, using his immortality field as long as he can, is not going to hang on for much longer, and it looks like Bodyshot Bandits will flip this point back over to their favor. And with only about 30% left for them to fully capture this point, they have enough ults to keep this fight going. Raiden, using the Zenyatta, staying off to the side here, looking to probably use a Transcendence. Bodyshot still owning a strong defense. Moloch's coming in to try and contest this point as long as he can, but he will fall very quickly. Baptiste ultimate coming out from the side of Silent Tendencies, as well as Bob coming straight onto the point, or coming out straight in front of the point. That's going to lock out a lot for Bodyshot Bandits and allow them to walk away with the paw. Dirt coming away with the play of the game. And they will be putting an eye for Temple of Anubis, which will be our next map. And they will be putting an eye, meaning that they do have a 6v6 now once again. No, I believe I sent that message at 5:10, so they have until 5:15 before I will start the map, no matter what. Now, let's see. I know Bodyshot Bandits is ready to go. Let's see if Violent Tendencies is ready for our third map of this series. So far, Bodyshot has 2 maps in their favor. It is possible we could see a map 5, and map 5 will be going to Lijiang Tower, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check on that. Our tiebreaker map will be Lijiang Tower, with Havana being our 4th map of this series. Now, if Bodyshot Bandits can walk away with the Temple of Anubis, they will walk away with the match, meaning that the Havana will just be played for map score, which will decide between ties. Map score being very important in the standings this season, as I believe it's all based on map wins instead of win-loss, although it is nice to keep track of who wins and loses. Once again, if you would like to join the Overwatch League of Champions as a player or as a fan, feel free to contact somebody. You can feel free to contact me on Twitter at Feraligatron, as Feraligatron, and I will get you into the server. Still waiting to see if OLOC is ready with Violent Tendencies in order to start this next map. Bodyshot being very strong team right now, really showing what they can do when they're able to play. We haven't seen too much of them this season, and it's nice to see them being able to play right now. Violent Tendencies needing to figure out what they're doing wrong. I was going to switch people over because he is going to be swapping up different roles for people. It does look like Ikri will be playing on the tank this time instead of the DPS role. With Falcon and Spooky continuing to play on the support, still being a very strong support combo. And both teams are ready to go. We are going into our third map of this series, Temple of Anubis. Our 2CP map of this series. We will be running this map set one more week. Next week will be the last week for this map set before we go into our third map set. We have a total of 5 different map sets, with week 13 of the season having its own special map set. So we only see that one once. And then the playoffs map set will be a very strong one, which I think I've compiled some of the community's favorite maps to have some very fun and very strong games from these teams. However, we are coming in to this third map of the series. Violent Tendencies is going to be attacking first.
Ready for battle.
Warlocks playing once again on the Genji, with Ice Sinatra playing Kree. Whereas when it comes to Bodyshot Bandits, they're going to be running the Widowmaker and Doomfist once again. Still running with Elo Moon on the Hammond, being a very powerful Hammond right now. Really showing what he's able to do with this character. Warlocks also playing on the Genji is still very, very powerful. Actual Falcon looking like they're away from the controller right now, possibly lagging once again. And here we go with map 3, Temple of Anubis. Buyback Heavy playing on the Orisa, running the same competition that they were running on Blizzard World, it looks like, whereas Violent Tendencies is trying to run the Rhine Zarya, a slower push composition. Coming around this backside, Warlock's going to be very important in this fight, as Genji is going to be the major pushing factor for this team right now. Tendencies trying to make ground, trying to push through this point. Valkyrie taking the first pick of the fight, taking out the Doomfist of Dirt, which can allow Warlocks to really start to step forward and get under the toes of this enemy team. Sinatra running the McCree to try and get in there. Contesting that Widow very effectively, not missing a single shot onto LO Earth, and Violent Tendencies very powerfully taking this first point of Temple. Now coming into that second point, it's going to be very important for LO Earth to use this insight in order to get an idea of where they're coming from and take up this high ground onto the second point. The insight coming out straight away for Bodyshot Bandits, taking up on this high ground. Hammond is also taking up the same positioning. We see a switch onto the Mei from the Doomfist from Dirt. Sinatra with a Deadeye all charged up. This could be a game-changing ultimate for Violent Tendencies, able to take this map. Hammond coming straight into the fight. Coalescence coming out from Violent Tendencies, healing and doing massive amounts of damage. However, Overwatch doesn't care about that. He's going to be able to take down Valkyrie, as well as Dirt taking out the Lucio, and it looks like Bodyshot Bandits will continue to hold this team at bay. Warlocks having an ultimate of his own, Bodyshot having only their tank ultimates, but they do have a Widow and a Mei ultimate, as well as a Soundwing coming online very fast. The only element they don't have is the Armor Nano Boost. On the side of Violent Tendencies, though, we do see a Graviton Surge coming online very shortly, as well as a Earth Shatter. They also have an Earth Shatter, Dragon Blade, Deadeye, and a Sound Barrier. LO Earth using his Infrasight in order to take out Morlocks before able to use that Dragon Blade to make any lasting picks. LO Earth being a very powerful asset for Bodyshot right now. Morlocks trying to be able to get in there in order to try and make these picks when needed. Hammond doing everything he can will cause the death of the Reinhardt, as well as being able to escape with his life. McCree looking with that Deadeye still, not really able to use it. Blizzard comes out straight onto the point. That game guy will be frozen. Morlocks though coming in. Still, he did use that Deadeye, and will cause the death of the Orisa. Deadeye coming in from Sinatra. Sinatra that will fall with Mei assessing this point, taking it very seriously right now. And it does look like the Violent Tendencies will start to fall in. Trying to tap this point as much as they can. Bodyshot Bandits using that Infosight, going to be able to take out the Junkrat. With Dirt taking out the Moira of Violent Tendencies. Just about 2 minutes left for the time, with about halfway there to capping that full point. Violent Tendencies using a lot of ults, making some swaps, but putting Morlocks onto the Hanzo instead of the Genji. Sinatra once again getting picked by LO Earth. Valkyrie, Graviton Surge ready to go. Can be a very useful ultimate, however, there isn't really much to combo with outside of the Coalescence. Valkyrie trying to get in there, trying to charge up some damage, get some nice charge onto their particle cannon. Moon, though, looking like he might be trying to creep around the backside with these mines, trying to get in there. He is going to be spotted, though. Moon looking for his opportunity to really get into this fight. Valkyrie using that particle cannon to its full effect, and the supercharger comes out from Bodyshot Bandits in order to try and hold them. Mines will also come out. Both tank ults used from Bodyshot, but it's going to be well used in order to take down almost everybody from Violent Tendencies. Valkyrie being the last one left alive. Basically a team kill from Bodyshot Bandits, using those ults to their highest potential. Another pick onto Ice Sinatra from Elo Earth, knowing exactly where he was going to pop up.
30 seconds remaining.
Dirt trying to use this Meteor Strike, looking to get another pick onto this Widowmaker. This Widow being very heavily focused, not giving much room. 12 seconds left for this fight. Meteor Strike coming out from Dynasty. With Widow once again getting targeted, unfortunately. Dragons comes out from Violent Tendencies with Dirt taking out yet another pick. And Violent Tendencies will cap about halfway through that point.
Score 0-1. Switching sides. Initiating
Bodyshot now on the offense, being very strong presence right now in these matches. Violent Tendencies, I'm afraid, might not be able to walk away with a single map in this series. Our last map will be Havana after this, and Violent Tendencies has to try and hard hold at least that second point. If Bodyshot Bandits is able to get halfway through that capture, then it will be over for Bodyshot Bandits, for Violent Tendencies in this series.
ready for battle.
Valkyrie playing on the Roadhog instead of playing on the Zarya this time. With Sinatra, I'm trying to play on the Junkrat. Widowmaker still coming out from Elo Earth, with Elo Moon still being a strong presence on this Hammond. And we'll be running a Reinhardt instead of the what were they running earlier? I think it was a Sigma. They're running a very similar composition that they have been running with the Reinhardt Hammond. Whereas from the side of Violent Tendencies, we're seeing an Orisa and a Roadhog.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Bodyshot looking for the chance to get in. They're going to be pushing around the backside with Doomfist coming around on a flank. Trying to move around and get up behind the enemy team of Violent Tendencies. Hanzo holding his high ground is going to be a huge nuisance. Looking for the pick onto the Ana. He isn't going to be able to get it, but he will take the life. He will actually end up taking out Raiden, with Actual Falcon taking out the Reinhardt. Morlock taking out yet another pick. And it comes to the ult game right now. Morlocks and Ice and Ultra on a very strong standing right now with being able to get their ults up very fast. That game guy coming in with this Orisa will fall. Falcon, no. Taking a pick of his own. Morlock's taking his own pick. Widowmaker on this high ground has very strong positioning in order to really scope in onto this point. Nice headshot. He will fall though. 2 Morlocks. Coalescence coming up in Violent Tendencies, and Tendencies looking very strong on this defense right now. doing everything they can in order to keep this team, keep Bodyshot at bay and walk away with at least one map in this series. Midowmaker, using her ultimate, has sights on where the enemy team is. Looking for a pick on Morlocks. Morlocks probably met Hazo, thinking that he could contest her a lot easier, and it's proving to be correct. Morlocks uses dragons. It's going to take out Lazarus, as well as a Hammerman coming out in order to try and lock out this team, thinking that they might have been pushing forward. Instead, Tendencies is going to remain on the high ground over here in order to keep this fight going in their favor. Brian Connor, staying off to the side, is going to be pulled, but he has his shield up, ready to go. Trying to stay off to the side as to not give any room and give any ult charge to Violent Tendencies. Earthshatter comes in and is going to be able to take out Ice Sinatra. Earthshatter not in play here. Start taking out the Orisa with a Meteor Strike, as well as trying to take out this Roadhog. Cohawk coming into play from Akri, trying to deal the damage that needs to be done. Nice hook though, onto the Doomfist. It looks like Violent Tendencies might be able to continue to hold this point for the time being. Nice Sinatra having a Riptire ready to go. Sorry about that, I was taking a drink of water to try and help with my voice. Dragons comes out from the side of Violent Tendencies, trying to lock out this point even more. Although, Morlocks is going to be taken out by the Fire Strike, with a Riptire being destroyed. Or not destroyed, it just didn't catch anybody off guard. Fight coming out from that game guy. Widowmaker still being a strong presence for her team. And it looks like Bodyshot Bandits will be able to capture this point with 10 minutes remaining. Hanzo coming in to try and take out somebody, but will be taken out by Morlocks without first taking life of Elo Moon. Or Elo Earth.
New defense point. Objective B.
Violent Tendencies, if they can hold that strong defense that they did earlier, they might be able to walk away with this map. Elo Moon on this backside right now. Looking for a way to get in. Spooky Assassin playing this Moira very conservatively, trying to keep her team up, trying to keep his team up. Coalescence still in play. Dragons are going to come out from the Bodyshot. Bandits will take out that game guy. With Ryback is heavy, having an Earthshatter can lock out this fight even more. He will fall though due to the whole hog. However, it doesn't look like it's stopping Bodyshot Bandits from starting to capture this point very powerfully. Having enough people on it means that they will have much more likelihood of being able to capture this. That guy switching over to the Hammond to try and contest this even more. Elo Moon with another Hammond ultimate in the pocket. He might be using it now, and he will use it there in order to try and zone out this point, although it is not the best positioning for that mine. That game guy rolls straight through it in order to destroy it almost completely. Violent Tendency is trying to hold their positioning here. With Elo Earth being forced off his positioning, with Violent Tendencies continuing to hold without losing a single tick onto this point. Just about a minute left for Bodyshot Bandits to push in. They do have an Nano Boost online, which they can use to possibly bring dirt up to the ability. But it does look like that game guy did DC, so we will be pausing once again for about 10 minutes. It looks like that game guy look like he is building right now, has a fire going on. But I hope he's gonna be okay. But it does look like Bodyshot Bandits with only a minute left on this time clock right now. I don't know if they're going to be able to push forward with this. However, they could still walk away with um the map in their favor. Raiden looking like he had to leave. Let's see if they would like to go to a 5v5 instead. With it, even though it could be a false alarm, I would hate to force Alright, we will be going to a 5v5, so I will change that in the settings really fast. And that will be changed up in the next map, so those slots will be still open, unfortunately. However, I don't think anybody will be able to join. And if both teams are ready, I will end the pause now. I paused it, I believe, at 31, so they have until 41, technically. So in about 6 minutes. It does look like they are going to opt into the 5v5, though. And then let's hope that um that game guy is going to be alright. And we will be starting right back up where we left off. Dragon's coming straight out with Hello Earth, taking out 2 picks. My back is heavy, taking out another pick of his own. With Dragons coming in straight away. These teams are ready to go. Now it looks like they will be running 5v5 for this map and the last map, I do believe. Which wouldn't be that bad, as it is something that our league does allow, and it still makes these teams, even though they're being very strong right now on this Hanzo, taking out massive picks. Ella Moon using these mines to zone out the point once again. Being able to capture this point is going to be huge for Bodyshot Bandits in order to walk away with the victory in this matchup.
Play of the game.
And our last map, we'll be going to Havana unless one team decides to forfeit. Now, although Bodyshot did walk away with the win, Violent Tendencies still could take away with a map, which will put them in a much better standing for the last one. Now they have 5 minutes to ready up. I did say it at, we went out around 37, so they have about 4 minutes. I believe he is. Yeah, it looks like Violent Tendencies will be forfeiting. So, unfortunately, Violent Tendencies will be forfeiting, so that means that it is a 4-0 to Bodyshot Bandits, and I do believe there is something I might have to check up on. But, congratulations to both teams, and I will have to, for my MVPs, I have to give it to Morlocks and, Hello Moon. Both these players are very powerful. Anyway, nice job to both teams, and I've been Fralgatron. Thank you for watching the OLC, and I'll see you again next time.